Ask away. We're ready for whatever questions you got.
Well, first, just with general politeness to the whole audience, let's don't have any questions which is a resume in disguise, okay? We got a lot more cities to see. We can't take any scripts or any resumes tonight, all right? Let's just hang with what you're doing in there. Okay, brother, what's your question?
Where can we see the original soundtrack?
Where we on the sound here? All right. All right, okay.
I'm sorry, what was your question, partner?
How or where can we see the original movie?
The Sweetback is available on
DVD.
sometimes at Blockbusters, sometimes they don't have it. You can always go to Amazon.com and type it up and get it. And perhaps I'll distribute it again. There's been a lot of demand for it, so maybe I'll bring it out again. When I say I own it. I ain't got no partner, so it has to be me.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Did seeing the movie make you want to look at Sweetback again? All right. When I told him I wanted to put clips of Sweetback in Badass, he said, well, you got to pay for them clips. I paid the man $2,500 for the clips. I said, you crazy, this is product placement. What are you talking about? You should pay me. So he takes my $2,000 and then he takes me and my badass kids on vacation. That's my dad.
Hey, Father, how did you feel playing your father talking to yourself as a kid?
It was a trick. It was like, it hit me the other day. It's like therapy you could eat popcorn to. Because here's the other thing was the trip was that my son is in the film. He's the little kid with the angel wings, right? Yeah, that's my boy. So it starts out with the voice of Mandela, and then it goes to me, and then it ends with him. So it's sort of grandson, father, grandfather. But what was deep was we were shooting that sequence, and I had gotten a camera on loan for free because I wanted to shoot 35 on that sequence because I wanted to do slow-mo. And it was on the actual street where my dad's office was. The sun was going down. This woman was getting pissed off that we were on her lawn. She was going to kick us off the lawn. And my son, we hadn't broken for lunch, so my son got hungry and he took off his wings and he started running up the street to be with the other kids and eat lunch. And I was going to lose the camera any minute. And I heard this voice come out and I just heard it say, get your ass back here. Get up on that bed and start jumping, man. You want to be in the damn movie? And I realized the voice was my father, but it was coming out of my face. And it was all the stuff you swore you'd never do, you know, as a parent. You know, I will be the gentle, kinder. Whew, in 18 days, I had 18 days to shoot this movie. So it was a war. I didn't have the same war as him because I could get a multiracial crew now that was, you know, that was in the union, that had seen a camera. But when he did it, it was like we were all going through film school. So he really stood up for it, and I'm glad he put us through film school.
Listen, I see some folks out there. There's some seats in here, folks. Come on in. Come on in. There's some seats you can sit. Tell them now, okay? Or you get over here if you want to see. You don't have to stand there at the back of the bus no more. Come on. There's a couple seats over there, there.
You have a question?
No, there's 2 seats here. I'm selling these.
Just sit on somebody's lap.
Hey, I got a question over here.
Yes, sir.
Is this movie gonna hit the theaters or?
Oh, no, yeah.
So the brother wanted to know is the movie's going to hit the theaters. Okay, here's the deal with that. What happened was I went to the studios to see if they'd let me have the comfort money. And they said, we'll give you the comfort money, we'll do the script, but you have to take a lot of notes. The first set of notes were Melvin, they said, Melvin Van Peebles knocked down the door, not for just black film, but independent film, so make the film more for the sort of intelligentsia crowd. You know, festo crowd. I said, well, that's part of it, but that's not the whole movie. Then the second studio said, well, if you want to make it more for a black audience, go make it more sort of booty call hip-hop, barbershop vibe. Seriously, put some barbershop folk in there. That was a cool movie, but that wasn't the movie I was trying to make. The next studio said, make it less political, make it less sexy, and make your father more likable. Right, so I realized at that juncture that, you know, even though I'd done New Jack in 40 Days and Posse and about 40 in Panther and close to that, a little under that maybe, that I was going to have to make this like the old-fashioned way. Once I did that and did it with my little company, MVP Films, and sort of found some money, and then all these folks came in basically for just to do the project. At that juncture, I realized we'd be doing independent the whole way, because if I didn't, it would marginalize some aspect of my father's character, and I wasn't going to do that. So we're going to open up in New York and LA first, and then it'll slowly come out here. I think June. David, when's it come out here?
June the 11th.
June 11th, it comes out here in a couple theaters. But you won't see big billboards. There won't be big ads. You know, you won't. It's got to be a word of mouth flick. But the danger is if it doesn't pop, then they'll say, "Well, see, you should have done Booty Call 4 or whatever." So that's the thing. It's like the original in a way. You know, in a parallel world of that, we're in that same position of saying, if folks get out and see it and speak on it and email on it, we have a shot. That's all I could do.
Can I just throw something out to the brother that asked where you can grab the tape? On Colfax and Uinta, they got a shop where you can grab all the
Colfax and
tapes too. Uinta. Colfax and Uinta. I just want to throw that out there.
Cool. Yes, sister, right there.
Are you finding that
We can't hear you.
this is, what, 30-something years later, and are we still in the same boat?
Well, yeah, there's a big cinematic slave ship. You know, we still rowing this middle passage, but we have Skittles and popcorn. You know, look, the truth is that there's no head of any studio that's a woman. There's no head of any studio that is a person of color. So if you want to make a movie, you got to go past that jury that is not of your peers, and they're going to tell you what your people want. And I wanted to say, well, the A story really was about a brother with David versus the Goliath of the studio system, and the B story was just a complex relationship with a kid. Well, they couldn't get their minds around that, and so you know, it's my dad said once, new cake, no, same cake, new icing. Yeah.
Sir. Yeah.
Well, it sort of follows her question, but the business of distributorships, picking up a movie and then blasting it all over the country, that's still happening. I mean, it's still hard to get that to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, not only the studios are all in white hands, also the distributorship. Luckily, there are just a few distributors a little smarter, a little more sensitive, and Sony Classics picked up the film in Toronto, but there was no guarantee of that. You've got to be willing to take that risk. When Sweetback came out, only 2 theaters in the entire United States would show the movie. But this is what the voting with your feet, voting at the box office will do. When Sweetback broke records, as this is a real true deal. The first night they opened the mezzanine, which they hadn't opened in 15 years. Suddenly, I was Mel Baby again. Everybody was calling me, and then the film spread. It didn't spread by any magic, except the magic that we don't believe in. But the magic is, you are somebody. If you like something and you show, then it changes everything. Because the system has an Achilles pocketbook. If you can make something viable, even if they don't want to carry it, they will carry it as long as it makes money.
One of the things that's real interesting was that as a kid, I remember distinctly, you know, when my dad started standing up and saying, no, I want to have a crew that's got some women on it, some black folks, Asians, Hispanics, Jose Garcia, who you saw, white folks all together. It was almost like he was saying, either we're going to work together on this set or we die together as fools, very much like that. And what's happening was, because it got a standing ovation at Sundance, it just got the Critics Award with Roger Ebert on the Floating Festival, and it played like gangbusters at Howard. What's happening is the audience is turning out to be like the crew, and that it is multiracial. And so the distribution guys aren't used to that kind of film. How do you get that kind of film out there? Because we played at Berlin, and the guy at Berlin went out and called his dad, hadn't spoken to his dad in 6.5 years, knew nothing about film, American film, black film, but just saw the human side, which was cool. So that's the marketing challenge, that playability is there. But you know, When We Were Kings had great playability, it doesn't mean that folks catch it. Right? Okay, next question. Yes, sister.
Were you really traumatized by this thing you had to do?
Was I really traumatized by that scene I had to do? I'm looking for my dad to give me another shot. He told me, well, last time I had to fill in for you. You know what's interesting is we still have all our differences. I mean, we have a lot of them. I mean, I was traumatized by giving that damn bike back. That bike had a banana seat. I still feel he owes me a bike. One day he's gonna roll out. I just know he's gonna roll out a bike. But here's the thing. It's like you and I may have our differences, right? I said this before in an interview. But if this theater catches on fire, our differences are suddenly eclipsed by the bigger event of we got to get our butts out of here before this theater burns down. So we're not discussing our differences. We're on go. Then, if we get outside and realize there are people trapped back here, and you and I go back in to save other folk and put ourselves on the line for them, you'll know something about me and I'll know something about you that you might not have known otherwise. So as the time went on and the death threats came, and I saw that he was saying, no, I'm not going to make it the normal Hollywood crew. I'm going to make this movie and I'm going to change it. And I saw that he was willing to put himself on the line for other people. My little Afro-cutting differences got eclipsed by the fact that I said, wow, this brother, they may get him. You know, it got tough. I mean, he was carrying a gun and it got pretty raw. So suddenly that really, I felt like my biggest gripe was I was involved in a battle without understanding the war. But as a 13-year-old, how much do you understand? You know?
So did you understand that at the age?
No. As time went on, I did. You know, when I went back and started directing New Jack City, I was like, wow, he did that? And you know, he directed it, and then I directed Posse, and it kept going. It's like that Mark Twain quote, all my life my father was kind of slow, and at 21 he was a genius. Right. You know, you get to a certain spot and you just understand the man more, you know. Any other questions?
No, you know, one thing I'd like to say, the old guy. One thing I'd like to say is that the really important thing to me in this film is that what you're doing is actually giving history of a period too. See, and even though the dog was named Nixon, we got a dog named Bush. So it comes around at the same time.
Absolutely.
It does the same thing for us again.
Absolutely. Mr. Brock was talking about what the French say, le plus ça change, le plus ça reste le même. The more things change, the more they in fact stay the same. And with the current administration, you know what that's about, and all the repeal of funding for different programs, and the repeal of gains in civil rights with the affirmative action, the very same conditions exist, except for now with the technology, it's easier to get a film made, it's just as hard to get it distributed. Right. And that's the thing. But what I thought was kind of cool, and I don't want to go on too long, was that in '71, when the Panthers said, when they saw Sweetback was hip, was that they said, well, Sweetback's about a flawed brother from the street with a bling-bling mentality, who goes from, I'm going to get paid, to no, something bigger and caring about his brother. Going from being part of the problem to part of the solution. So the Panthers said, Sweetback made being a revolutionary hit. When the studios co-opted the formula later and changed Shaft around, they made being a cop and working for the man hip. See the difference? And later on, even being a drug dealer hip, which is a harder one for, same thing, rap music. You get rap here, what you do, what Oscar does, the Last Poets do it, and slowly, when they get it, commodify it, you know where we are now. It gets pulled out. So what I thought was interesting was showing a film about a brother who wasn't per se a rapper or a ball player, never been to prison, never did crack, was a filmmaker. And that's kind of revolutionary to see now too, you know? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Just a quick comment. You know, back in '70, '71, when I saw Sweetback in Cleveland, Ohio, it made me feel good. Now when I watch Badass, it's making me think. And it's a cycle. And it's time. I was thinking back then, but I need to feel. Now I'm feeling, I need to think. Okay?
That's the trailer right there.
I think the response to that is amen. Sir.
Yeah, just as there's a need for independent filmmakers with differing stories, but bring other people in independent modes on historical ways of distributing film.
Well, let me answer that question this way. When Sweetback crystallized and solidified the the whole movie going on, and Hollywood preempted it, we didn't have the infrastructure to capitalize on that. Infrastructure now is in place. If by going to the movie, we don't have to be in the second position. Mario has taken it as far as he can. Depends. And don't go getting nostalgic and say, oh, but that was solidarity back then. There was no goddamn solidarity. We made the solidarity. And you are the solidarity, and you are somebody. Don't stand there and ever say, what can we do? Go. And get everybody else to go that time. Otherwise, you're going to have to watch Booty Call 58. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. One last question? Okay. This brother right here?
Yeah, I got so many, man, being a filmmaker.
You got one?
Yeah, I got one. And I want you to...
Okay, we got that one. That's later. Go ahead.
When I was watching the movie and at the end, when you seen the people walk out of the theater, when you were actually there at that part when it really happened, at the Twins Theater, did you really make it, did it seem they really didn't get the message you're trying to get across on the film?
Well, actually, Mario went just a little soft on that episode. My first two customers was a woman sort of doddering about 65 and her mama. They not only walked in 20 minutes, they asked for their money back. Yes, in answer to your question, my ass began to okay.
Thank you for coming.
We have a couple of announcements. Just want to give it up again for our veteran, the original badass, Mr. Melvin. A couple of things. If you received a in competition, please do remember to vote for the film desk. If you did not get a ballot, please pick one up at the desk and vote. You just have to make a little tear in the paper and drop it off. The second piece would be, I want to acknowledge the other veteran fathers in Baraka in the house. All right. And I don't know if Father Oscar Brown Jr. is still. Yes. Really want to thank you. The Pan very blessed and very thankful to have you all here with us tonight. Our Digger Pan African Film Festival. Excuse me. And this is a production of Film Society, the Gay and Lesbian Cast, American Family Insurance, a list of sponsors, including Urban, who's sponsoring closing night tomorrow night. I want to introduce Mr. Melvin in the house. He is the director of Love, Sex, and Eating the Bones. Our closing night film tomorrow night. Wait, stand up, come down, all the way to Toronto. Down. And then that we have a badass party tonight at Soul, the club at 2040. You have a ticket stub. You have free entry into this club. So we're drinking badass. We're hoping that y'all will join us for a little while, that all of you are welcome to join us for a little while.
I left my Viagra.
I'm sure somebody has some Viagra.
All right, I'm there. I'd like to just say one thing, folks. You know, the business of America is successful. These sisters, these very hard. I think we ought to give it up for them. Yeah. I want everybody to give a little bread to help this shit go. We're somebody, but we have to do it ourselves. Huh? This is say, and we've got
the Pan-African. Film staff coordinator. Director of Letters and marketing assistant. We have me. Everybody. Tomorrow. Love. It is. Just looking forward to doing that, and we just want to thank you. And we want you to remember that all day, every day. Happy New Year.